In this video, we're going to be going over practice set number 2 for the matching questions. So this time we have reading passage number 3, and this example comes from the Cambridge IELTS book number 7. So let's read our title. It says that this reading passage is going to be about the effects of noise. Let's come down to our questions. So here we have our matching questions. It says match each sentence with the correct answer choice. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different questions. And here we have 5 answer choices. So what that means is that one of these answer choices is going to be used twice. Now guys, what do you think are going to be the easiest keywords for this question set? Which keywords would you look for in the reading passage? The keywords from the questions or the keywords from the answer choices? Which ones are easier? If you guessed answer choices, then you are correct. Basically, we're going to be looking for all of these keywords. All of these are proper nouns. These are names of people. So we are going to be looking for these keywords in the reading passage. And once we locate these keywords, then we're going to look around that area to look for these keywords from the question in order to find out which question is the correct match for each one of these answer choices. So let's take a look. Here we have Glass and Singer, Broadbent, Finkelman and Glass, and Cohen et al. If you don't know what et al means, that just means and others. Okay, and others. That's just a shorter version of saying and other people were involved. Typically we use this when we are talking about a research study. So usually there's a group of people who are involved in a research. So in such a case, we might mention the name of the main researcher, and then we may say et al, which means and others, just to indicate that there were more people involved. So let's look for these keywords now in the reading passage. We're going to start scanning from up here. So right here I see Glass and Singer. Let's keep scanning because I want to make sure that this keyword doesn't appear again. It's possible that this keyword may appear again, in which case I will have to search for the answers in those other locations as well where this keyword reappears. So let's just go through this whole reading passage and let's just mark our keywords first. I think that will be the easiest way to go about this. Okay, here I see the other keyword, Broadbent, Finkelman and Glass. Mentions here again, Glass and Singer. Let's see what else. Over here again I see Glass and Singer. Here I see Cohen et al. Again Cohen et al. And that's it. Great. So those are the keywords. So the matching sentence is going to be around this area, around the area where we have found these answer choices. So right now, I'm going to start off with Broadbent and then Finkelman and Glass. I want to do these two first because this keyword only appears once and this keyword also only appears one time. These other keywords, for example, Glass and Singer, it appears several times, and then Cohen et al, that one appears twice. So I'm going to be doing these ones first since they only appear once. So we're going to be able to find the correct matching question for these keywords much faster. Alright, so we're looking at option number B, Broadbent. Now we have to find out which question is answer choice B going to be the correct answer for. So right now, it makes sense to mark the keywords from the questions. So let's begin. Number 35 says something about subjects exposed to noise, how they find it difficult at first to concentrate on problem-solving tasks. Okay, so difficult to concentrate, and difficult not just at any point, but in the beginning. Number 36 talks about long-term exposure to noise. I'm not going to be marking noise too much because the whole article is about noise, so this keyword is going to keep appearing everywhere. For example, here you can see noise, 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 more noise, and more noise. Okay, so the word noise is not really going to help us much, so I'm more focused on other keywords. So long-term exposure to noise can produce changes in behavior, which can still be observed a year later. Okay, can be observed a year later. That whole thing, in fact, is useful. Okay, number 37 talks about problems associated with exposure to noise. Do not arise if the subject knows that they can make it stop. Okay, so if the subject knows, they can make it stop. And we're talking about how something does not arise. The problems do not arise. Number 38 talks about exposure to high-pitched noise, which results in more errors in comparison to low-pitched noise. So high-pitched and low-pitched. Number 39 talks about how subjects find it difficult to perform 3 tasks at the same time when exposed to noise. So 3 tasks at the same time. Number 40 talks about how noise affects a subject's capacity to repeat numbers while carrying out another task. All right, so those are the keywords from the question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking for these keywords from the questions around the area where I have found the keywords from the answer choices. So first, we're going to be answering the question for Broadbent, option B, answer choice B. So let's read this sentence. This sentence starts over here. It says, for example, high noise levels interfered with the performance of subjects who were required to monitor 3 dials at a time. All right, it says 3 dials at a time. 3 dials at a time is synonym, or seems to me to be synonym, for 3 tasks at the same time. Let's keep reading on. A task not unlike that of an aeroplane pilot or an air traffic controller. All right, so the answer to this question is taken just from this one sentence. So the correct question that matches up with answer choice B is going to be number 39. Number 39 says subjects find it difficult to perform 3 tasks at the same time when exposed to noise. Okay, so when subjects are exposed to noise, they find it difficult to perform 3 tasks at the same time. And that's what it's saying up here. This is our matching sentence right here, and that's what it's talking about. It's talking about how the high noise levels interfered. See, interfered is synonym language for difficult or something that causes a problem. See, this is problematic. This is difficult to do. It is difficult when noise interferes with the performance, when subjects have to do 3 tasks at the same time. So that's what it's saying up there. So the correct answer to question number 39 is B. All right, now let's move on to our next answer choice. The next one that we want to answer is Finkelman and glass. Why? Because this keyword, Finkelman and glass, also only appears one time in the reading passage. So we want to do the easy ones first. All right, here we have Finkelman and glass. So let's read this sentence. It says, similarly, noise did not affect the subject's ability to track a moving line with the steering wheel, but it did interfere with the subject's ability to repeat numbers. Alright, so here it talks about how noise interferes with the subject's ability to repeat numbers. To repeat numbers, noise interferes. Okay, so that right there is our matching sentence for one of the other questions. So let's come down here. You might remember that it talks about repeating numbers in number 40. It says noise affects a subject's capacity to repeat numbers while carrying out another task. So when we introduce a subject to noise and we ask them to repeat numbers, it becomes difficult if they are also doing another task at the same time. So that's what it says up here. It says that noise interferes with the subject's ability to repeat numbers while tracking. So while tracking is just synonym language for while doing another task. So tracking is an example of doing another task. So that is synonym language. So the correct answer to number 40 is going to be option C, Finkelman and Glass. Alright, so we've got these two knocked out. Let's do D. Let's do that one next because Cohen et al., that one only appears twice, which is still less than Glass and Singer. Glass and Singer appears a few times, so let's do Cohen et al. Next. So this keyword appears down here, it appears twice. So where should we start reading? I'm not sure. Perhaps we should start reading up here, or perhaps we should start reading down here. How would we know? Well, it's quite easy. What we're going to do is we're going to be looking for these keywords from the questions. We're going to scan for these keywords in the questions, and we're going to see if we can find these question keywords in the reading passage by scanning. So I'm not going to start reading this sentence, and I'm not going to start reading this sentence either. Rather, I'm going to be scanning around this area to find out where I can find the keywords from the questions. So here we go. We are now scanning for keywords from the questions. Okay, it's talking about how noise can cause distraction. Here it talks about long-lasting. Long-lasting could be synonym for long-term exposure. Long-term exposure. That could be synonym language. Let's keep scanning more. Alright, here it says something about 1 year later. And over here, it also talks about a year later. A year later. That is, again, another keyword. So what do you think, guys? Where should we read? Should we read up here? Is that where we're going to find our matching sentence? Or are we going to find our matching sentence down here? Well, of course, we're going to find it down here because this is where we have located our keywords from the answer choices and also the keywords from the question. So let's read this part. It says, the effects also seem to be long-lasting. A follow-up study showed that children who were moved to less noisy classrooms still showed greater distractibility 1 year later than students who had always been in the quiet schools. Alright, so here's talking about how there is long-term exposure which can produce changes in behavior, changes that can be observed a year later. Okay, so the correct answer choice for option D, Cohen et al., the correct matching question for this answer choice is going to be 36. Alright, when we get to Glass and Singer, let's see if we can find any of these keywords from the question language. Specifically, I'm looking for keywords from question number 35, 37, and 38. So let's begin our scanning. Here is Glass and Singer. Okay, so let's scan for our keywords from the question. Alright, so here it talks about how it says noise was quite disruptive at first. That's what it says. Noise was quite disruptive at first. And this right here is synonym language. I remember reading about that. Here in the question it says, subjects exposed to noise find it difficult at first to concentrate. They find it difficult at first to concentrate. So that is synonym language for noise was quite disruptive at first. Okay, it was difficult to concentrate at first because the noise was quite disruptive at first in the beginning. So I have a feeling that we might find our answer here. This might just be one of our matching sentences. So let's read this part and let's see if we find our answer here. It says, the noise was quite disruptive at first, but after about 4 minutes, the subjects were doing just as well on their tasks as control subjects who were not exposed to noise. Alright, so here is saying that the noise was disruptive at first, but after about 5 minutes, they were performing just fine. So number 35 says that subjects exposed to noise find it difficult at first to concentrate on problem-solving tasks, but only in the beginning. See, not during the whole time, only at first. So the correct answer for 35 is going to be A, Glass and Singer. So let's put A next to 35. That is our answer. And let's move on to number 37 and 38. Let's look for these keywords around our keywords. I know that I'm probably not going to find these keywords from the question next to Broadbent and Finkelman because options B and C only appear one time in the reading passage. But Cohen et al., that one appears twice, and Glass and Singer appears a few times. So it's very likely that the answer to these two questions are going to be either A, Glass and Singer, or perhaps Cohen et al. It could also be none of the above. It could also be E. But if it is going to be one of these names, then it has to be Glass and Singer or Cohen et al. So let's start scanning. So we located Glass and Singer up here and we found one of our answers over here. Now let's see if we can find our answer next to this area where Glass and Singer appears again. So here we go. Let's start scanning for the keywords from the questions. So here it talks about some study in which subjects were exposed to bursts of noise. Okay, it's talking about different types of noise, unpredictable noise, okay, don't see much about that because we are looking mainly for these keywords. I'm looking for problems with exposure and how these problems do not arise. That's the main thing I want to focus on, how problems do not arise. And when do they not arise? They do not arise when the subject knows that they can make it stop. So that's what I'm looking for with number 37. And then I'm also looking for keywords high-pitched and low-pitched. So I don't see that yet. Around here, I don't see that. So I'm just going to keep scanning here. All right, here it mentions something about turning the noise off. It says option to turn the noise off. All right, so I know that this is synonym language for this part, make it stop. Make it stop. That is synonym language for turn the noise off, right? To make it stop. So it's possible that we're going to find our matching sentence right here in this area right here. So let's go ahead and read this part. Let's read the sentence starting from here. This is true even if the individual never actually exercises his or her option to turn the noise off. Let's keep reading on. Just the knowledge that one has control is sufficient. Alright, these two sentences are referring to some information in the previous sentence, I just want to read the previous sentence to make sure that I am correctly understanding these two sentences, because sometimes the sentence might refer back to previous information. It might refer to information being mentioned in the previous sentence. So when this happens, then you may have to read the previous sentence in which there are no keywords. Even if there are no keywords, if the sentence is referring back to a previous sentence, for example, by using the word this, then you may have to read the previous sentence to make sure that you are properly understanding the meaning. So let's go ahead and read this previous sentence. It says, if the individual knows that he or she can control the noise, this seems to eliminate both its negative effects. Alright, so negative effects is synonym language for problems. Remember, we had the keyword problems over here, problems, and then it says do not arise. So here it says eliminate, that we can eliminate the problems. So that's the same thing as saying that the problems do not arise. So I'm pretty sure what my answer is going to be. So the answer choice A, glass and singer, is also the correct answer choice for number 37. Number 37 is also A. And finally, we have question number 38. It talks about the keywords high-pitched noise and low-pitched noise. So let's scan for these keywords. Where did I leave off? I left off over here. No, down here I left off. So let's just scan starting from here. High-pitched and low-pitched sound, those are our keywords. So I don't see these keywords here. And let's start here at the beginning. I just want to make sure that I haven't missed it. So it talks about high noise levels, but that's not the same thing as high pitched. Those are not the same keywords. Here it talks about loud bursts, predictable noise, unpredictable noise, soft noise. But I don't see anything about high-pitched noise and low-pitched noise. I see loud noise, soft noise, predictable noise, unpredictable noise. But I don't see anything about high-pitched or low-pitched. Those keywords don't even appear in our reading passage. So I'm going to conclude that the answer to number 38 is E, none of the above. Because that information is simply not available in our reading passage. So there we go. Those are all of our answer choices. I hope that you now have a better understanding of how to answer this question type. In the next video, we're going to be going over the next type of question.